So that main event yesterday was a bummer. I mean, it was bittersweet, right? Like this is one of those fights that both fighters really deserve to win, right? Like on one hand, you have Alistair Overeem, a man who has gone through quite a bit of adversity. I mean, getting your lip completely busted open by Jairzinho Rosenstrike in a fight that you dominated up until those last few seconds, that is adversity. And then you have Walt Harris on the other hand. Jesus, Walt Harris, what a crappy 2020 it has been for that man. To lose a child, and not just to lose a child, but to lose a child in the way that he did, in a very traumatic way, that is adversity. That is trauma. It's not something that I can relate to because one, I don't have a kid. So I really I can't genuinely put myself in his shoes. But those of you out there with kids, I know that at some point you've probably thought about that, right? At some point you've probably imagined what it would be like to have your kid go missing. And not just have your kid go missing, but ending up finding that kid dead, murdered by some stranger, right? Like, that has to be the worst case scenario as a parent. And that is exactly what Walt Harris lived through. That's what he is living through right now. Like if this was a movie, this is not the way it would end. If this was a movie, what happened last night is not the way it would end. If you watched a movie that ended that way, you would go, this movie sucks. It did not end right. The right person did not win the fight. Like if it was a movie, it would start off like the adversity would happen. Walt Harris would lose his child, and then we would follow him through the grieving process where he's in denial, he's curled up in the ball, he's crying his heart out, he's going through some major pangs of depression. It's like a bottomless pit of despair and depression, and we watch him go through that. He's shedding tears every single day. We see him, he's no longer himself. He has no motivation to do anything. He's no longer creative. He doesn't want to work anymore. He locks himself in a room. And then one night he goes to bed, and while he's asleep, his daughter comes to him in a dream, and his daughter reminds him of who he is. His daughter reminds him of what makes him who he is. Dad, what makes you who you are is that you do not give up. No matter what happens, you don't give up. You don't give up on yourself. You don't sit there sulking all day long. You got to get up. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstrings. Remember what you're chasing. Remember your dream. Remember your career. I understand a terrible thing happened, Dad, but let this be motivation as opposed to a hindrance. That would be the dream. And then his daughter would give him a big hug, and he would wake up, he would wake up motivated. He would immediately reach acceptance. And the next thing is we're gonna see him in the octagon against Alistair Overeem. And then, of course, in the movie, the fight will start off with adversity in the cage. Probably Overeem will hit him and drop him. And then he's going to get on top and start pounding on Walt Harris and hitting him and beating him down. And just as he's about to give up, we're going to hear his daughter's voice in the background echoing, reminding him, Dad, get up, remember who you are, Something super cheesy like that. Something super cheesy and dramatic like that. And then, Harris, just like Hulk Hogan, is going to make his way back to his feet. And then Overeem tries to hit him one last time. He catches the punch. Boom! In the cinematic way. And the camera zooms in and we can see his eye bloodshot. Tears rolling down his eyes. And he hits Overeem one more time, drops him, gets on top and stops him. And the movie ends with the right guy winning. But as we've seen a million times in the past, mixed martial arts is not a movie, right? It's not a movie. It's real life. It is unforgiving. And there's one thing about MMA that it will always remain the same. It doesn't care about who deserves to win. MMA does not care how many times you've lost. It doesn't care if you are on a 6-fight losing streak and you just need a win. It doesn't care. It doesn't care if your child just died. MMA doesn't care about that. There's only one thing that matters once that cage door closes and those two men are about to compete, and it's who is the better man. And yesterday, Overeem proved that he was. It's so crazy the way the fight started, man. Like, Walt was looking good. He was looking sharp. He was looking powerful. He dropped Overeem with a beautiful combination. Gets on top. This is in round one, early in round one, too. Gets on top of him, starts pounding on him. And the one night, I saw a tweet. I don't remember who made this tweet, but someone tweeted, "This is the one night we needed Alistair Overeem to not have a chin." And this is the one night that he did have a chin because he demonstrated some incredible durability. This is a big dude on top of him, pounding him, hitting him as hard as possible. And somehow, Alistair Overeem, the same man who gets KO'd every other day, is able to survive the barrage. And not just survive the barrage, but he's able to reverse the position in that same round number one, and quite possibly might have won the first round just because of how long. Well, of course he didn't win the first round because he got dropped and he almost got stopped, but still he was able to reverse the position in round number one, stayed on top of Walt Harris for a very long time, and gassed him out. Of course, also what gassed out Walt Harris was the fact that he unloaded, emptied his gas tank, tried to end Alistair Overeem. Probably, he was still very emotional about everything that's going on, and he kind of stepped on the gas pedal and just emptied his gas tank. And by round number two, man, we could clearly see that the man was done. He was breathing so heavy in that empty arena. You could really hear him breathing. And not just that, we also saw like some brand new wrinkles. Well, I don't know if I would say it's brand new wrinkles in Overeem's game. We know that Overeem is a kickboxer, which means he knows how to kick, but he doesn't really kick as often as you would expect him to kick. But in this fight, his kicks were really on point. In round number one, I believe he threw a beautiful turning side kick to the body, which was clean. It was gorgeous. And in the second round, the sequence that led to him actually stopping Walt Harris was also very beautiful, and it is something that we've come to expect from Overeem. If you guys remember his fight against Andrei Arlovsky, it was the same sequence that ended the fight. Overeem starts off with a beautiful kick. I believe it was a crane kick that he threw against Andrei Arlovsky from orthodox, ends up in southpaw, follows up with either a cross or a left hook, drops the opponent. Something very similar happened yesterday. He starts off in conventional stance, fires up a beautiful roundhouse to the head. Walt Harris partially blocks it, but it also partially gets in. Overeem, as he was landing, switches to southpaw. From southpaw, he fired off, I believe it was either a cross or a left hook, floors Walt Harris, gets on top of Walt, and stops him. Stops the man, and we're all just like, Jesus. On one hand, you're like, okay, I'm happy that happened. Overeem deserved the win. If you're an Overeem fan, ooh, that's good. He won a fight. But then again, you're just like, godly. If anybody deserves a win right now, it is Walt Harris. But, again, that is not the way mixed martial arts goes. And then, you see Overeem just genuinely feeling remorse for what he just did, which again, it's something we've talked about on this channel before, right? Like fighters' ability to have a mental switch, go from I like this guy, I respect this guy. Hell, if you're Donald Cerrone, I'm actually friends with this guy. We hang out, we train together, we go to lunch together, we break bread together. This dude is my friend. But I'm going to go fight you, right? I'm going to go fight you. I'm going to try to hurt you. I'm try to knock you out. I'm going to try to, I don't know how they're able to do that. We've talked about that in the past. And this is not me throwing shade at fighters. It's not me trying to call them psychopaths or sociopaths or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. It's actually a praise. It's me saying they have something that I don't have, something that a vast majority of us don't have. There are very few people out there that can go fight their friend. Can you? Can you fight your friend? Let me know in the comments. Can you fight your friend? Think about your friend right now. Okay, you have your friend in your mind. Can you fight him? I can't. Like, for me to be able to fight you, a little bit, I have to dislike you. I gotta dislike something about you. At the very least, I have to want to punch you in the face. You've gotta have pissed me off somehow for me to be okay with stepping into a cage half naked and kick you in the head and kick you in the body and watch you bleed, like hit you hard in the face, watch you start bleeding and go, ooh, I'm gonna hit you some more and cause you to bleed. Hit you with elbows, slice your face open. Like, dude. Especially, like, do you guys remember how the fight started yesterday? Because, like, Walt Harris entered the octagon first, and then Overeem entered later, and Overeem walks up to him, gives him a hug, gives this dude a hug before going to go beat his ass. Like, it's incredible. It's incredible how they're able to do that, and I just don't know how. Because if I was a fighter, I would be like Ronda Rousey, because I think that was what Ronda Rousey was trying to do with Holly Holm. If you guys remember, with Holly never gave Ronda anything to be really mad about. Holly wasn't talking crap about Ronda Rousey. It wasn't like a genuine rivalry between Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate or Ronda Rousey and Betch Kohara. It wasn't like that. Ronda needed something to dislike about Holly Holm, which is why she was making up a bunch of nonsense. I feel like I would do the same thing if I was a fighter. Like, if I run into the genuine nice guy that I actually like, oh my God, I would poke at you. I would find something. I would find a way for you to annoy me. Like, there's gotta be something that I can get out of you that's gonna make me go, oh, I don't like that guy. I really don't like that guy. Okay, now I have motivation to go fight that dude. And I just, fighters who are able to just switch, boom, they go from liking you, I'm your fan, I'm your friend, I like you, bro, I respect you as a man, to I'm gonna go beat the crap out of you, and then once the fight is over, switch right back to I'm your friend. It's incredible. It's absolutely amazing. It's one of the most incredible things about being a mixed martial arts fighter. I don't know how to do it. If I could interview a fighter, that's one of the first things I would ask them. If I could interview a fighter, I would want to sit down with them and just try to find out how they're able to do that switch. I get it, it's your job, it's how you make money, and as long as you can look at it as a job, as a competition, but like, how do you do that, right? How do you look at it as a job? How do you get to that point where you only look at it as a competition? I don't know. But yeah, man, I don't have much else to say about this main event except bittersweet. Bittersweet. On one hand, I am very happy for Overeem. He deserved that win. He definitely did. But Walt Harris deserved the win more. He just did. He just did. Because of what has been going on. He definitely did. And, man. MMA, what a sport. Crazy.